Hi everyone, this is Kimberly Anne, and I'm here to talk about my books, my 3 novels that I've written, and I'm hoping that you'll tell your friends and get the book and read it, and I would really love a review. I want you to tell me all about it. I've had some people already get the book and read it, and I've gotten some very nice reviews on Amazon.com. I've only gotten one bad review so far, but that's, to each his own. Some people don't like paranormal romance or my style of writing. That's fine. There are 3 novels so far that I've written. The first one was actually written back in 2008, slowly. This one is about a woman named Annie. Her name is Anise Bell, and she likes to be called Annie. She lives in Marietta here. She likes to hike up at the Santa Rosa Plateau, which is a wonderful, wonderful place to hike. If anyone has ever been here, check it out. It's a reserve. She goes up there to escape and comes into contact with a man who just turns out to be a vampire. The way that I came up with this book was after many, many, many years of being obsessed with vampire movies and romance novels and all those little paperbacks that I used to go out and buy time and time again. And my husband told me, you should just write your own story. You should just write your own book. And I thought, that's not a bad idea. But how would I begin? Where would I start? What do I write about? It's been done so many times. I just, gosh. The thing was, I did not want to write about a vampire who was from Transylvania. I didn't want to write about a vampire from Europe at all. I wanted to write about a vampire from somewhere else, using a different kind of cultural background. But the character that I wrote about, the vampire, is Mikel, is actually originally from Spain, the northern part, which before Spain became the whole country had their little kingdoms, and his kingdom was up in the north, what is considered Basque. The historical accounts took a lot of research, and being that my husband is Spanish, his family's from Oviedo in Asturias, I asked him a lot about the culture and what I should write about. And he gave me a lot of input. I did a lot of research also, like I said. And then how he becomes a vampire was a whole different thing. And I want to thank my son, who's really into those great battles. He loves like the battles from 300 and the video games and stuff like that. And he gave me an idea, and I went with it. And it worked. And the character Mikel, turns out that he comes over to the New World with the conquistadors. So he starts off as a conquistador, and then he becomes a vampire through, I want to say, some of the Aztec mythology, which I had fun researching. And a lot of folks know that a lot of the Aztec mythology and have a lot to do with blood and sacrifice, based on the accounts of the Spaniards who were there in that time. So I kind of went with that and created a vampire deity through that. So Annie, which she likes to be called, meets Mikel here in Marietta, and how, I won't tell you, you gotta read to find out. They fall in love, and basically it's that whole romance, the sexual tension. Well, I wouldn't say there was sexual tension between these two. They just went for it. But it turns out to be a really cool romance. And for those of you who have a hard time dealing with a heavy sexual atmosphere, this book's not for you. There's a lot of it. They're very passionate with one another. And it goes on and on and on and on. And there's other characters in there. There's a couple of characters that I put in there. There's 2 characters that I kept. her daughters, Annie's daughters, Christina and Julie, who are college age, and they kind of get intertwined in her vampiric world. But I think that most people will enjoy this. I honestly do. It's my very first attempt at writing. It took me a while to get it done. I thought I was finished with it at one time, and I wasn't. I rewrote this book 5 or 6 times until I got it right. It took me, I'd write it and then I'd read it and I thought, I don't know, I better fix that, I better fix that. I had college students who helped me edit it, being that I am a self-publishing author. I had to get the help because I couldn't actually go out there and afford to get someone to really actually edit it. So being my very first novel, I truly believe that it's a great accomplishment for someone. I'm wiggling the laptop. Oops, sorry about that. So that book's out and it's ready. It's on Amazon.com. You could buy it there, or you can buy it on my website, and I'll give the address at the end of this recording. After that, I wanted to take the main character, Mikkel, and write about him. And I wrote, let me show you this one. This is Sweet Kiss of Darkness. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's this one. It's a nice thick book. Great reading. Woo! And the second book is a little bit smaller, and this one's called Mikkel, A Vampire's Tale. And this one, I did a lot of research on this one too, because I go into history and I kind of fit him in there. So where he's from, how he's born, how he ends up here in Marietta, how he meets Annie, all the women he comes into contact with, etc., etc. Yes, a lot of juicy sex in this one too. So those are the first 2 vampire paranormal romances I wrote. After a while, I started thinking about another book I wanted to write, and I wanted to go into shape-shifting, but not so much. So I decided to write about lycanthrope, werewolves. And I based this third book that I wrote, The Cabin at Lake Lenape, I based this one in the Midwest. And it's about a woman named Alexandra Rhodes, who has problems with a husband who's a real poophead, and she goes to a cabin to get away. At that cabin, she meets Grayson Minnick. Tall, muscular, handsome, golden hair, beard. This man is like your corn-fed mountain. I mean, he's just gorgeous. And she meets him. They have eye contact, and that's it. The thing with this one is that, unlike Sweet Kiss of Darkness, she doesn't jump into the sack as quick. She takes her time, but things start to happen to her, and she starts to realize there's more to Grayson Minnick that meets the eye. So this story is, this one's not as long too, and I did that for a reason. This book I left a cliffhanger on. So you finish this one and you're awaiting the 4th one. This is a great story too. This is also available on Amazon.com. So is Mikkel. I'm sorry I didn't say that. They're all available on Amazon.com. This one actually is available through Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. You can order it, and it's like I said, it's what we call POD, Publish on Demand. You just order it and they bring it to you. The 4th book I'm working on is, I believe, going to be the book of all books. Writing these other books have given me more and more and more incentive to just do better and better and better. It's called The Minnicks, and it's basically based on the same characters that I've written in The Cabin at Lake Lenape. And it's just going to take you from where that book ends further into another story. They meet, there's new characters that are introduced, and the characters I introduced don't have a lot of time in the book per se, but they kind of, they're there to help with the story.